superheroes. This interview is for memory recall aspirants who want to learn faster and want to achieve maximum in their life by keeping all their limitations behind. Today, we have on a show that is Wisdom from Experts, Miss Gousia. If I have to tell her about a short introduction could be, she's an engineer, certified life skill facilitator, NLP practitioner, and a warrior. That is, she's a lupus and CKD survivor. But if I have to talk about her in a brief, Gousia is an experienced and powerful trainer in the field of behavioral skills and communication training. She aspires to serve the community in the above shared fields. She believes in skills and skills-oriented learning to be dominant factor for an individual. Gousia is well equipped and well informed of the latest changes and trends in the job markets and various other MNCs, which helps her implement various innovative training methodologies. Beside a trainer, she is also a motivational speaker, an educationist, and an ardent believer of the fact that learning is an ongoing process. She believes in transforming lives through education and self-realization. She has, from the beginning of her career, worked with student, community, and young professionals, enabling them to understand the demands of the organization, training them on the language, communication, and etiquettes. Some other fields are like team building, stress, and conflict management is essential to help them become confident and create a skilled and knowledgeable workforce that is able to visualize and align the organizational goal along with their own, thereby achieving positivity and power. She also takes an immense interest in the habit of studying and adding value to the knowledge that she believes is the essence of human mind. She strongly believes that enjoying and evolving through the process of learning is what makes the journey of life memorable and worth living. So, learn a little bit more about this, whatever her mission is and what she is doing in the field of educational training as well as motivational speaking. So, let's welcome Gousia to the show. Gousia, welcome to the show.
Afternoon, sir.
Yeah,
thank you very much for having me.
You can call me Chakradhar, you can call me Dikshit. Please don't call me sir. Yeah.
I prefer to call you Mr. Dikshit then. Thank you very much for having me with you here today, Mr. Dikshit. It is indeed an honor.
Yeah. So, working in the field of education, helping a lot of students. So, just want to know, and with your permission, I want to start, and I want to ask some of my questions which I've what I want to ask you about little bit about yourself. That is, what bring you to this life skill facilitator or NLP practitioner? That why did you make a decision to become a life skill facilitator and NLP practitioner?
This is a very intriguing question, a very interesting one. So actually, I started off as any normal graduate. I finished my 12th, went into the big boom, the big rush that was engineering. So I was not to medicine. So engineering was the next choice. Went into engineering. Engineering was fun. I did enjoy learning it. And then I went, but application part was not that, I didn't interest me a lot. And neither could I involve myself much into the application. So I thought if I do a higher education, then probably I would love teaching. So I thought, okay, this would be a good idea. I did my PG in satellite remote sensing. And post remote sensing, I went into the teaching field. But as I started growing with it, my inner calling was more into life skill, because by then, I used to do part-time trainings, and training had, got my hold. So I used to be so much into training that I thought teaching engineering is definitely not my cup of tea. And I slowly drifted into life skill training. And when I say training, it involved meeting a lot of people. So I am more of an extrovert. I love meeting people, and people skills are my go-to. So when I started off that, I was so involved in it. I kindly got the touch. I got a lot of that connect, and it fulfilled me. I was so happy. I was satisfied, and I thought, yes, this is it. So that was the initial thing that actually brought. And bringing NLP over here, so NLP came into my life by 2013-14. I used to do a lot of research because it was something new, a topic. And I thought, let me see what it is. From I was a child, I believe that we can master our lives. We can, make life work the way we want. We can tune our minds. And NLP was exactly a reflection of that. So NLP believes in vision and how you take an action. And it says that there are different states to a person. That NLP focuses that you should not subdue yourself because of certain failures. So all my thoughts that were deep inside me were part of NLP. It believed in positivity. It believed in expanding yourself. And all of this was part of me. So that is how I started learning NLP and got integrated, life skill and NLP both together. That's the reason I put it together.
Great. So, what are some of the services that you offer? Means these are the things which you have decided and you share with your audience or your customers, I mean to say, or maybe clients. So what are if you have to tell us about some of the services which you offer?
Yes. So when I started off with school students. So for school students, it's basically, it focused on how you eliminate your fear, how you bring in the best in you, how you have to have confidence in yourself. And slowly I understood that this requires a lot. It is not a small topic about handling fear for school kids who are going to write their class 10 or their board examinations of class 12. This is something far bigger than that. So I expanded into college students. I expanded into organizations. And when I moved into organizations, I understood that management is not only about implementing certain things. It is not just, directing something to happen. It is not like I have something in my mind and people do it. It requires a lot of people management skills. It requires a lot of decision making. It does requires management of stress. Positivity has to be there. You have to manage conflict there. You have to know how to negotiate. You have to have leadership skills. So I started training on all of these factors. And the process of communication was involved, senior to junior, junior to senior, up, bottom up, top down, all of this was there. So this is why I moved into learning all of this and applying. So these few topics that I just mentioned are my large services. But otherwise, I am open to learning patterns on how we think. All this I do for children. So when we say my client list, it will involve all these. It will involve the corporate pattern. It will involve the preteen pattern, plus it will involve the child thinking pattern.
Okay. So you deal with the kids also, means school-going children, as well as the corporate people, and even middle-aged person also, or maybe the students who has just started their colleges, right?
Yes. We do interview in language and all that for final years. We do confidence building first years. So there are a lot of topics that cover.
Okay, great. So what were some of your challenges, some of the challenges you faced when you first started? Like these are your challenges and these were actually stopping you, and then you conquered those challenges and you move ahead.
I would split this into two parts, one on a personal level and one on a professional level. So talking about the professional level first, anybody you talk to, first they're like, okay, what's the big thing about? You're going to teach language, right? So know the language. How am I going to? So the I know attitude when it comes to corporates, when it comes to senior people, is a big challenge. That's a very difficult to crack, actually.
Right.
And when we have the teens, the preteens, the college-going people, they're like the concentration, the distraction level is large compared to the concentration. In a batch of, say, 40, we'll have hardly 4. That's like hardly 10% of people who actually want to learn. So bringing the crowd to listen to you is a challenge.
Yes.
And when it's children, the distraction factor is extremely high. So how you engage with the people, how you bring them in and you have to use various techniques. You have to probably sometimes even kneel down. You'll have to sing a song there. I'm a very bad singer, so imagine how it must be for me.
Right.
You'll have to tell a story. So
Mhm.
you'll have to grab their attention in various forms.
Yes.
So these are the various challenges that are there on a professional front. On
Okay.
a personal, I had a lot of issues related to my health. So I had lupus from when I was pretty young. So I couldn't climb many floors. So if I had to go somewhere that didn't have a lift, it would be difficult for me to go to the second floor.
Right.
And I used to always think that it was because I had a weight issue. I am a little healthy. So I always thought that it's because of the weight. So I had panting. So if I spoke for 3 hours straight, I needed a break. I needed water breaks. So that was a challenge. And later on, as I progressed, as my lupus progressed along with me, so I love lupus now because it's made me the person who I am.
Right.
And as it progressed, it became even more difficult to manage my breathing. So that way it was really difficult. So I had breathing issues because of that. I had a little difficulty with my joints. So both kind of challenges, I had to have a balance between them. So that I would say was really difficult.
Yeah. And I think sometimes if your body doesn't help you or doesn't support you, that is more difficult rather than managing people, because that skill you can learn. But then if your body is not supporting, so that become really very difficult. Yeah, agreed. And you definitely conquered that thing, that won that thing, and started doing this, and still you're doing it. Great, kudos to you. Yeah. So next thing. How important do you think memorization or remembering anything is important for your students, any of your students at any level? Yeah.
At any level, I would say that we need to remember what we learn, but rote memory is definitely not going to help us. Now, how I learned about this was I studied in an ICSE school in my high school level. In my school, never emphasized on memorization. It was more of understanding your concept. Now, when I was in class 4 or 5, I think, I'm not quite sure, our teacher took us to the playground. So if you have a typical subject, and the subject was geography, so you know how history and geography is, right? It's a little, post lunch break, history and geography is not encouraging. Right. So it was a geography class, and when we had to go to the playground, I was super excited. Because simple thing, we are not going to sit in class. We can go around and have. Yes. So our teacher told us, take a pencil with you, take a paper with you, take a note with you, and let's go. So who cares about pencils? As long as we go to the ground, we are happy. Right. So she said, okay, all of us can sit over here now. So we all went, and the school had, a square kind of a ground in the middle, and there were 2 basketball poles on either side. So we had enough space in the middle, and we sat there. And then she said, just look up to the sky. So all of us were like, okay, what's there? And she said, draw what you see. Okay. So and there were nice dense clouds. So we immediately took our pencils and we started drawing. None of us understood what we were. And when we look at clouds, they give us various shapes and thoughts and all that, right? Yes. So we all tried to use our imagination and we started drawing. And then she was explaining to us. She said, how many of you drew these, scattered kind of clouds? Now, it's when I was in class 4. But I remember 2 names till now. And she said the scattered ones were cirrus clouds, and the ones that were more combined together were called cumulonimbus clouds. And when I looked at my drawing, it had more of cumulonimbus than scattered cirrus. And that kind of told me, wow. And I remember this name years after. Right. So that I think is a very important thing. When you remember what you learn, you never forget. Yes. So if you want to remember something for a long period of time, understand. Yes. Try to get in the concept. Yes. Memory becomes a piece of cake. Right. Agreed. The standard method of studying involves of reading, memorizing, and writing it will make you eventually forget. So when we like what we do, we remember it for a longer period of time, as I believe. Yeah. If you have a better focus on whatever you are doing, you're definitely going to keep in your memory, or you're going to remember it for longer period of time, as you remember both the type of clouds, because it's some kind of experiential learning. Yes, got it. Yes. Yeah. Thanks to my sisters. Okay, great. So
according to you, what is the future of coaching in India, and also how it will help India grow economically? Because there are a lot of coaches coming, and we all know that people need help, but then it shouldn't happen that there are more coaches than the people. So how do you think how it is going to help India in long run?
Yes. So one thing that I would say, I would like to again bring this into two domains, because training is an umbrella term.
Right.
So when we talk about coaching, it is more bringing the persona in you to come out.
Right.
So if, for example, if I am coaching Mr. Dixit, I want Mr. Dixit to bring out everything. I am only giving him triggers.
Right.
I am not teaching him. I am giving him guidelines. I'm showing him the path, and I want him to fulfill and satisfy all his requirements.
Right.
So he brings the problem, he understands it, and he answers. But in training, I am teaching him more of what to do.
Right.
Now, these are two different things. Here, the client is involved and the client is doing everything in coaching. And in training, I am doing more of the work in helping him understand and fit it into place, put it into proper place.
Right.
So in India, as we are now, I think both are equally important. For any organization, training is the backbone of anything you do. It could be any kind of organization. It could be B2B, B2C, anything. However, you need to ensure that your people have enough and more knowledge about the product, about the market, about what you are doing. Every person in every step, right? In the back end, the front end, everybody needs to know about all the detail. And training is definitely help and help. But when we talk about management levels, and when there is confusion, when there is an imbalance in decision, then coaching definitely will play a very important part. And in this lockdown process that has happened for the last year onwards, there is a big disconnect between the management and the employees.
Yes.
There is a big bridge, a big gap between the employees themselves. And no matter how much we work together on the online domain, the human man connect is missing. So we might probably Skype every day, we might meet every day, but how profitable is that connect going to be when I actually don't understand, when I don't talk to you? So a coach will definitely help, construct a bridge between both of this. He might get the middle management person to understand what his requirements are, and then train his employees according to what he expects. So the coach will definitely get a better revenue. So in the lockdown, a lot of training itself, the training industry itself thinks we have kind of broken down. But no, the lockdown has brought out the best in training. When we have to look at it, before this, most of us, as a trainer, I would say, most of us did not even know how useful the e-learning platform is going to be. Trust me, I say we stuck to Skype for interviews.
Yes.
In a process of 2 to 3 months in the lockdown, everybody knew how to use Teams, Meet, Zoom. We tried the best in everything. Today, everybody wants to move to Clubhouse.
Yes.
Because we believe that coaching can happen anywhere, connection can happen anywhere. So the lockdown has taught us lessons that we otherwise never have learned. Yes, it was stressful. Yes, it was fast. But unless it would have happened, if it would not have happened, we would not have moved out of our comfort zones. So today the future is more towards quick learning, fast learning, right? And it is more towards the occupying the e-learning domain. You would have read recently, China has got the fastest internet service in terms of terabytes, right? You would have read that in the last 1 week. If not for lockdown, people would not have wanted, because I am talking something important to you, and if there is a connection lag, the entire meeting is like, oh my God, we feel it's broke. Right? So the need for faster internet, the need for faster connect, the need for validation, acknowledgement, everything has happened because of this. So the future of coaching lies in implementing all our newly learned methods. It lies in getting more thoughts from people. It lies in faster implementation. So yes, it has brought us into a new world altogether.
Yes.
When you open Insta, when you open Facebook, you find this e-learning, that e-learning, this child process, that child process. How did all of this come?
Right.
Last year it was there. It just happened like that.
Yes.
Right? So the nature of training and coaching is reaching out to every house, to every phone, right? And trust me, it will change the way our education works, our management works, and we are people who are capable of figuring out anything. We have a way out.
Right.
We know how to figure our way out. Right. And this is really a big challenge. It is a small trigger for us to bring out the best in us.
Yes, very true, very true. And whatever we have did in last 2 years, we definitely wouldn't have tried that if we would not be fall in that situation or not in the COVID would have brought on our knees. Yes, definitely. Yes, true. So maybe this is a tough question for me also, could be for you also. In this online situation, where do you find your clients?
That is actually tough, right? Anybody who needs support is a prospective client.
Right.
Now, when I approach to 100 people and 4 people get back to me, those 4 people are my prospective clients. Right. If I focus on the remaining 96, I will feel like I am a loser.
Right.
So the best part is ignore, focus on the 4.
Right.
They will become 24. Right? So focus only on that.
Right.
So when I talk about finding clients, I think extending a hand is definitely a key factor. Right. When I feel this needs some kind of support, I immediately extend my hand. It is not that everybody I connect to immediately says, yes, we need your help. 90% say, we are fine, boss, thank you. Right. Your suggestions are taken, but bye-bye. Right. The 10% who say, okay, we can listen to you. Yes, definitely. I was recently listening to a business conference. This happened here in Tamil Nadu, and it did get a world record too. It was called the 24 Virtual Business Summit. So it was hosted at Clubhouse, and we were able to listen to various people who were there. We had a whole lot of speakers there, and I was just a volunteer. A very small part. I was just a small volunteer over there who would probably just paste in my group who's the next speaker and all that. And I don't remember if the officers or anybody even noticed. But I was happy because I was learning so much. And from 24 hours, it became 30 hours, 30 minutes, and 30 some hours and 30 seconds. Right? So it became 30, 30, 30, which means we have so many entrepreneurs who can speak for 30 hours. Right? And in Tamil Nadu alone. And we brought in India, we brought in from the world. So it actually became a super duper hit. But one thing that I learned from one big personality over there, from the one Mr. Vikmani, he is the director of Thyrocare. Right? You pick up learning from everywhere, right? So this person, when you go to another person's table, he has the upper hand. But when the other person comes to your table, you have the upper hand. And this really stuck in my head. So from that time, I would post something nice, and when they ask me, how do you do this, or what is the next step, immediately that he or she becomes my client. Because I am giving limited information, the other person likes it, and they want to learn more. So it's like, you basically drop a hook with a fish, with a small little worm or something for the fish. The fish wants the worm, but the fish is mine. So it's not selfish. It's about giving a little bit of learning and getting a lot back. So, but any person, I would say, a coach, a trainer, a teacher, anybody should have one thing in mind. This is my mantra. If you want to do something, make sure you add value. Only if you give value to the person, only if you make the other person feel he is learning something, will you win, will you learn.
Right.
If you focus for money, it doesn't work. Money is the byproduct of what you do. So for me, any program I do, I do not give 100%. I give my 110. And that is the biggest thing that is my advantage, because I believe in a long-term relationship. People who I have contacted in 2010, 9, when today they remember me, it is because of the connection that I have with them. And we wouldn't have spoken for years together, but sometimes they're like, hi, I know you, remember you trained me in 2010, 11. Wow. Because the connect might be for 3 years, connect might be for 3 days, but the connect is the same because it
Still
comes
there.
from within.
Yes.
And that value addition, that want to make a change, has to be truthful. It has to come from inside.
Inside.
If you
Yes.
do a money-based thing, it doesn't work. It simply
Right.
doesn't work.
Yeah, agreed. Yes, there has to be some value addition. People should think that I am getting a solution for whatever problem I came to this person. Yeah, so if they're not getting that solution and you're not devoting your time and whatever skills you have, you're not sharing with them, so definitely it's not going to work. It is not about money. Definitely it's not about money. So if I have to ask you, what is a typical day like for you? What time you start your day, then what you do, your personal time, then how you manage your personal time and your professional time. Maybe you will be at home only, but then also if you are a trainer, so definitely you have to plan. You have to plan your day properly. So if you want to share with us, yeah.
If my family listens to this, I am going to definitely get a kick from them, because I am more of a night owl, but I am trying to become a morning person. I have taken up some program which will help me become more of a morning person. But actually, my day starts off like if I'm pretty fine when I am normally in training, it starts off by say 5 or 6. Okay. So I finish my basic prayers, my basic thing. I drink a lot of water. It's always been there, and I make sure that there is some stimulation to begin with. So stimulation for most of them is a cup of coffee or tea. Yeah. For me, at one point of time, it was a cup of tea. But my personal stimulation is when I read something. Okay. So something I would have been anything, but that thought for the morning is a lot of people say don't begin your day with social media. So I agree to that. Yes. Don't begin your day with social media, but I normally start off with a few pages that I religiously follow. Okay. Because they generally give me that 2-3 lines of the day. Yeah. Right. So I am more of a stoic. So stoicism, I believe in stoicism, and stoicism actually tells me stuff like that. Right? It tells me you are the owner of your life, you have to follow. So look into who's into your circle. Right. So follow that alone. So this is like the mantra of the day. It is like, okay, today I am going to keep this in mind. It speaks about narrowing down, focusing, letting things what are in your control. I ponder over that half an hour, 1 hour until I brush and all that. So there's a lot of thinking to that. So as I think about it and then freshen myself, I'm like, okay, what are the things that I need to do? I plan my, once I fix this, I plan my day when I am probably showering, when I'm probably walking. So that is the time I put all this into place. And I always believe that to plan your day in your head, it is fixed. It becomes much easier for you. You don't have to go back, check. You might be a little 3 minutes there, here and there, but you know what you have to do. So if I'm generally working for somebody, then the timing is like, you go in 9 o'clock, you're in, you have 11 to 11:15 break, and then you have a break. Like most of the time, I am not a sharp 1 o'clock lunch person or something like that. So that is the time to just relax. Because we speak so much that we need to shut our mouths for some time. So that 15 minutes, an hour is like no talking to anyone. And once we are done by 3, 4, or probably sometimes by 4, 4:30, another coffee, and then learning. This learning is what that keeps me going. I generally follow Hubhopper, Flipboard, right? So these are little apps that I can easily log in, look at what's happening, and then come up. So getting updated with the latest news, reading something interesting on Flipboard, using Hubhopper, just looking at what is there, I know what is there. So I follow another thing called ABS. It's called All Book Summary. So if I can't read the entire book, I make sure that before I sleep, I at least read the summary of something. Right? It might be the 100th time I'm reading it, but I have to read it. Right. So that is something that is in me. And I always believe in a lot of hard book reading. Rather than the ebook thing, I need to get the smell of the pages. Yeah. I think it's the best part. So yes, I have to read something. I do a lot of scribbling. I'm more of a mandala person. So if I have 2-3 hours, then I spend about an hour or so for my drawings. I'm a very bad artist, but I think it keeps me focused. So the best thing is when you do something, just do only that.
Right. Yeah, at that time, yeah.
Yes, I'm involved. I make sure I read that. So pitching up on somebody, on some issue, pitching up on a client, and then letting it sit. then gathering information about that, putting it aside, checking with latest update, see what has to be done recently. I make sure I always carry a notepad with me. There's always paper pen next to me anytime. So jotting down my ideas, I call it my journal. So jotting it down, reading my affirmations before I sleep. And this is my typical day. So I wouldn't say I'm all that perfect. My mom always kicks me because I am not into that, the 5-time prayer person. I sometimes skip my prayer and she always gets mad at me. But yes, all this has to be done in those 24 hours. And again, before I sleep, now Netflix has brought in the Good Doctor again. So 1 or 2 series, people say no Netflix, don't watch anything. But I think a little relaxation is allowed.
Yeah, required. Right.
So before I sleep, I like to watch a little bit of the Good Doctor, but I try to boost the speed a little so that it goes a little faster. My family tells me, you will not get the essence. So I'm like, it's okay, but I at least know what's happening. And it's nice. I enjoy it. Wanting to be a doctor is a dream. So when I watch The Good Doctor, it's like whether I'm 80 or 70, I don't care. I will finish an MBBS and then I will die.
You'll try once. Yeah, great.
Give it a try, but I don't know with the niche and all how it works. But yes, something that you can look to, something that you can learn, something that gives you a push. And before I sleep, I write my journal, I read my affirmations, I plan my next day. I make sure I have a recollection of whatever I do. And I make sure that whatever I need, I believe in a lot of attraction towards things. So I believe in attracting positivity. So making a note of that. So putting it down in little hints that only I understand. If I read back again, I won't. So this is something that is really nice. It keeps me stress-free. I can put out all my questions. Nobody's going to judge me for anything. And it's like relaxed. You don't feel like you're putting in a lot of pressure.
Okay. So if you want to share what affirmations you say, means is it some Tesla method, 369 method, or some Think and Grow Rich, or it is which you have made only, if you want to share?
The first thing is, I would like to ask Mr. Dikshit, what according to you is an affirmation?
Affirmation is something which keeps me running, which keeps me always, means whatever is in my mind, and I want to achieve something in maybe 1 year, 2 year, or next coming 5 years. So I will keep telling myself so that I'll be motivated enough to achieve that. So that is one thing, affirmation for me. Yeah. And my belief, my faith could be different from yours. Yeah.
Exactly. For me, there is no set path. Whenever I start my affirmations, my first affirmation that I always keep chanting to myself is, I am happy. So I believe that when a person is happy, half his life is set. Right. And yes, I am happy, I am content, I am learning, I am evolving, I am successful are some of my basic affirmations. Right. So my vision board is not just on paper set somewhere. My vision board is more in my head. It is there on paper in front, but it is there in my mind as well. So I do not, want a big house or a hi-fi car, high-end car. I furniture, wow, the wow types. I have always wanted to live in a container, these container houses, and my family is like, what a dumb choice you are. I don't usually like a lot of shiny things, a lot of color. I don't like gold. I don't like diamonds. I prefer metal and silver and my container house. So probably materialist things are never there on my. But yes, travel, roads, a basic model car that will take me somewhere. So that is more of my, my long-term thing. So I would definitely nice car, a long run, and probably a small van or something where I can travel and sleep within a van house or something. So that is something I look forward for. So for me, my affirmations will definitely be joy, positivity, learning, evolving. These are the things that I actually want in life, nothing more. So my set revolves on all of this.
So you are with that sentence that I am content. So I am content in everything, in whatever I am doing, and I am happy in that. Yes, great. So just want to ask you one thing, because you have been in this training industry for a very long time. So there'll be some moment which or some portion of that or some part of that will be your favorite part. So what is your favorite part about being a facilitator or trainer? So if you want to tell us, so this is my favorite part in that whole process. Yeah.
I have a couple of things that I never forget. So like we know, no, it doesn't come easy. It comes with a lot of hardship, a lot of things. So I was generally a very, very emotional kind of a person. I still am, but not to the extent that it was earlier. And to become stronger, I did have to swallow a very hard pill. So I had a little personal difficulty, and I had taken absorb it a lot, adjust it, accept it, and then go over it. So that is one thing that people will say what's so good about it, because it immediately takes the sad part, the painful part. But I think if the painful part hadn't happened, I would not have evolved it and become better.
Right.
So that personal breakdown is one of my favorite part, because it taught me that I can live alone, I can live well, and I don't need anything flashy to be happy.
Okay.
So that is my favorite thing, and all this happened through my training process.
Okay.
So that was a lot of self-learning for me. So that is one of the best things that ever happened. And the next thing is now recently, about 3-4 years, approximately 4 years back, I was working with an NGO called Samarthana in Pune, and there were a lot of visually challenged people over there. I recently quoted this when I spoke to somebody else also. And when I spoke over there, it was a very short period of time, around 10 days, I guess, or even less. But 2 girls over there got really attached to me, and I loved them a lot. And when they contacted me last year, and I am still in touch with another person from there. He's not completely challenged, but he has a limited vision. But when they contacted me and said, "How are you? You know, we did this, we are this," I'm like, wow, if I can give a small ray of hope to somebody who thinks life is gone, then that piece is probably worth millions.
Right. Yes.
That is the best thing, right? And day before yesterday, I was contacted by a person who I trained in 2010. So yes, 2010, right? And this person underwent a language training with me. And he said, and he had recently sent a message and invite for his wedding, which I couldn't attend. So I saw only the live part of it. And this person told me, remember you had trained me? Now I want you to train my younger brother. He's just out of school. And this person went to one of the top colleges of the state, got a free seat, and today is a very successful engineer, but communication was his challenge. So he's like, my brother is similar to me. He's got very good marks, but communication is a very big hurdle. And I want you to help him. So the trust that has been there for the last 10 years, there are a lot of courses, there are a lot of people, and language is just one small bit in it.
Yeah.
That there are a lot of people around, but when he says after 10 years, you helped me in the beginning and it sustained, I want you to help my brother and I wanted to sustain.
Right.
That felt really good.
Yes.
I was like, okay, that actually made me happy. It makes me content, as I would say.
Yeah. Yes. So that experience or that coming back to you that I have got results. So their results actually motivates you a lot, right?
Definitely, definitely.
Yes. Yes. So if you have to give one advice, what advice would you share with someone who wants to become a life skill facilitator or NLP practitioner or anything he wants to do like you? So what could be your one advice, one life-changing advice if I have to tell to that? Yeah.
I don't think I am that big a person who can advise anybody. I can probably give a suggestion, but I am not that big a person who can advise. So I believe that the only way to share information is to be informed.
Right.
So if you want to share something, have it. I recently have written something like that. Why give when you can't get? Because it's a boomerang. You get only what you give, right? You just, it works both ways. So if you need to share something, you better be ready to learn something.
Right.
So one, if you really need to sustain in the business, learn, evolve, keep learning and keep moving, right? And I tell all the people that I train one thing. One is don't sleep without reading something or the other. Next, learn one new thing every day. And the world has so much that we cannot say, okay, this, I have learned this already. Because for example, I learned something called SMCP, social media, I forgot the full form of it. It's SMCP with CMP. I generally follow the plan for a week. So I know definitely Monday I have to do this, Tuesday this has to be done, Wednesday this is done, Thursday this is done, Friday this, Saturday this is done. I plan only for a week. But this program suggested, this was from one of my friends called Mr. Dharani Dharan. So I have taken up this program called a 21-day challenge, and it is a very nice program. It does teach you a lot of things. So because probably in the training domain, the starting was a little known. And he himself says, I'm not teaching you anything new, but it's if you implement it, you will get definitely good results. And he suggested in his program that plan for a year. Yeah. This happened yesterday morning. His program is from 5 to 6. So by 5:30 in the morning, he says, plan your year, your local holidays, your annual holidays, your international holidays. And when you plan, keep all of this in mind, right? And when he said this, I was like, okay, I never thought of a year. For me, I have a week and the week keeps repeating. But when he actually said this, I was like, wow. I said, okay, it is a little bit of work, probably 1 or so, it won't take more. But I actually can think about it for a year. So learn something new every day. It can be a small thing, it can be a big thing. But whatever it is, learn. So that learn one thing definitely helps you a lot. It takes you a very long way.
Yeah, because it's a very big journey. If you're training someone, so if you are informed enough, if you're learning something new, then only you can, that person can either treat you as an expert or you have something to share. Always you have something to share. Yes.
And the best thing is that when you talk to 30 people, and let's say when you're talking to 30 people, you have no clue what they may come up with. And when you say, no, this is out of my realm, I don't think I can answer this, then immediately you are looked down. But if you share, I'm not saying that you have to be an expert in everything. Definitely not. It's practically difficult. But then you can tell them, this is what I have read. And this person is the best person I can connect to. So if you can probably talk to them, then you might get a better idea. So learning and networking. Networking is very, very important, especially in the field of training facilitation. Right? Get to know as many people as you can. Because some way or the other, they will stand for you, you will stand for them, and you build as a community. I had a lovely, lovely mentor of mine called Mr. Steven Chinnasamy. We lost him to COVID. He is one person who has a very high stand in my life. I really respect him a lot. And this person, Mr. Steven, he would always say that only when people grow with me can I grow. I'm a good leader if I lead people. And I want my people to go forward. Only then I can grow only when my people grow. And this last year, when this lockdown came in, when all of this was changing, he was the person who immediately put us through various platforms. Trust me, before last year, I did not know Google Classroom exists. I knew the various options, but I had never tried my hand on Classroom. But it was because Mr. Steven, because lockdown started last March, I believe, right? Because I was occupied in another project. I finished, the project got over and the lockdown started, I came home. So when I started that, automatically what happened was, it was not even a week. And he started learning in his 50s, he started learning. And whatever he learned, he shared it with his team. So we were all part of a team called Strides. And Strides is probably the best thing that happened in my life. And it still is. It holds a very high value in my life. And when he started learning, he told all of us to learn with it. He taught us how to do it. We attended meetings every afternoon. And that was a beautiful experience. That is the reason I say networking, learning. These two things go hand in hand.
Yeah. And it should happen on a daily basis, minimum on daily basis, or at least a weekly basis.
Talk to people. If we think people are not going to, like, for example, I'm not a BNI member. I'm probably planning to soon because I've been into a lot of travel. But BNI has this formula idea. You connect others, they connect you back. We grow together. Rotary has a similar principle. We grow together. Right? So any JC, Lion, anything forms a community because of the concept we.
Yeah.
So when we talk about training, it's again about we. It is about we evolving. The minute we think we are broken.
Yeah.
So please learn and prepare to share that learning with the we.
We. Yes. Very true. So one last thing I want to ask you. You yourself, as I think you have recently undergone an organ replacement. So what is your opinion about organ donation, if you want to tell us?
This is a beautiful thing that I would love to answer. So I was battling lupus for quite some time. And lupus brought me to a stage where I had to get an organ transplant because both my kidneys failed and I was on dialysis from last August. And this March, March 25, I had my organ transplant. I got a kidney transplant done. So it is about 100 odd days now.
Yeah.
And only when I received the kidney, I had a donor from my family. And when I received the kidney, I knew what life is. So it was that day I decided that this is a principle that is against my religion, I would say. So my religion is not a very big supporter of organ donation. But I would definitely want to say, according to my religion, giving away organs is not right. Donating organs is not right. As I may be wrong, things would have changed, God forbid if I am wrong. But organ donation is generally not accepted as far as I know. But when I got an organ, I understood the value of an organ. So one came into my mind, why shouldn't I donate an organ? I got the second chance of life because of an organ. So why can't I give somebody a second chance on life?
Right.
So my family might be mad at me, but again, it is still a decision. I have just registered in the site. I haven't received my card yet, donation card yet. But remember, my friends, whoever's listening to this, that organ is not just something that you come with and eat. It gave me a second chance in life. And I would request people, okay, if you think organ donation is not fine, blood donation at least. But we need to contribute socially. I think no blood, at least go and contribute with your knowledge. Do some social. Do something. If you do not give socially, you are wasting your life.
Right.
So we need to make sure about that. So every time I always put up a note there. If you know somebody who is in a state where they cannot pay, please refer. I will take them and I don't expect any fee from them. Right? All I require is your suggestion that this person can benefit and you verify the background. And I trust. That is the only thing I say. Because I cannot donate organs now. I cannot keep donating blood now. But I can definitely share knowledge with them. That is within my control. That is within my limit. So keep doing something you can. Teach somebody. Help somebody. Contribute something once in a while. Give away food, water plants. And at the end, everything is done. And when you think, fine, I am giving, after you die, let somebody else live with what you have. So I have a very strong opinion about organ donation. I would definitely support it. And I would definitely want to be a part of it. Somewhere, somebody lives.
Great thought. And till the time you don't understand that value, so your opinion could be a different. But then once you got that thing, because it has helped you, so definitely it has changed your opinion or given you or made you think that this should be done. Or if you want to change the world or change the opinion of the people, there has to be some change starting from me. Yeah.
If I am not ready for change, if I don't believe in change, how can I support anybody? How will people listen to me? So if you want others to follow that, I better do it myself first now.
Yes, agreed. Great thought. So it was very nice talking to you, asking all those questions, getting answers and proper wisdom, I should say, which I've got. This is definitely going to help a whole bunch of people, a lot of people. They'll understand a lot of things, how they'll not only relate with your journey, they'll also learn a lot of things like how you manage different platforms, different training, and who are your mentors, what they have told you, so how they can get help of that. So those things will definitely going to help many people. So what is your thought? How was this interview for you? Was it, if you want to share something, your final words? Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's quite some time that I have actually spoken so much about people who have impacted me in my life. It's such a long time that I've actually shared so much information. So I would really thank you from the bottom of my heart. And to anybody who is listening to this, if it does make a difference to your life, I'm really thankful. And that is the only thing I want. So thank you again, Mr. Dixit. You have given me a really good chance. Thank you very much for having me here. And if you want to connect with, if your listeners want to connect with me, they are more than welcome. I am very active, pretty active on Instagram, though I'm not the reels type, a lot of information sharing, the song dance type. But people can definitely connect with me with my Gousia.
Okay. So I'll take that and I'll share my listeners and viewers so that they can connect with you online. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Gousia, for your time. Thank you very much. And this is all what I had to ask you for. Thank you very much for coming on the show and giving us all this wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.